If you're thinking about buying some land in East Tennessee, overlooking the great Smoky Mountains, you want to build that forever home or that dream cabin, this video is for you. Hey, while I got you here, subscribe down below, give me a thumbs up, press that little bell to get notifications for my new ones. And I just want you to know this video is not meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you. Just think about that. Hey guys, John Deno here. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Hey, today I'm going to discuss 6 things that you should know before you start looking for land here in East Tennessee. I know you probably want to build that dream cabin or that forever home, but there's 6 things you need to know when you're looking for that piece of property here in East Tennessee overlooking the Smoky Mountains. The first thing I want to talk about is views. So just remember this. The better the view, the bigger the price tag, okay? Everybody wants that enormous panoramic view of the mountains. Well, that comes at a hefty price. You can spend anywhere from, say, $5,000 an acre with hardly any view to $50,000 plus per acre for the view of the mountains. Now, if you think you're gonna swing into town and you're gonna land that amazing deal, you're not. If there's anything here that's just beautiful and at a great price, the locals are going to eat that up before you even get a chance to see it on the market. So just be prepared. If you want that big view, you're going to have to write a big check. The second thing I want to talk about is restrictions. Okay, there's some land out here has restrictions, some have no restrictions. If you want to come to East Tennessee, start your own little homestead, raise some animals, do your own thing, kind of be off-grid, if you will, you're going to want to look for land that's not restricted or unrestricted. All right. Once you start getting into restrictions, they can kind of limit you to the size of the house you build, what kind of exterior siding you can put on there, whether or not you can put a mobile or a manufactured or modular home on it. There's a lot of other things like animals. Some restrictions will allow you to have a horse, but you can't have a cow. Or they'll allow you to have cows and you can't have chickens. So you really have to call the Register of Deeds office. They'll tell you if you have the address, tell you what kind of restrictions are on there. But if you're looking to kind of get away, get off grid, you definitely want to start looking for unrestricted land. Now here's a little tip for you. If you're looking online for land and there's a lot number like lot 1 or lot 7 or lot 13, odds are it has restrictions. So you can kind of weed out all the restricted parcels easily that way. If there's a lot number, it's going to have restrictions. The third thing I want to talk about is excavation costs. A lot of folks think they can just buy a piece of land and they can just start building. Well, typically you're going to need a road to get to the area that you're going to build. And some of those costs, typically around here, what I see is about $1,000 per day, roughly, based on the type of equipment you're going to need. And that could get quite pricey if you're going, the higher you go, say you want that beautiful view of the mountains. Well, if they've got to cut a road in to get all the way up to the top, that can cost you $20, $30, $40, $50,000. A typical road cut in here on, say, like a 5-acre parcel of land will cost you $10,000 right off the bat. So keep that in mind. All right, number 4, fourth tip I want to give you buying land here is water. You pretty much have a choice. Well, I mean, you have a few, but the 2 common choices are public water, city water, or well. And if you're looking for a 5, 6, 20-acre parcel of land, you're not going to get city water out here. You're going to have to drill a well. If you really have your heart set on public or city water, you're typically going to see 5 or less acres, and you're going to be closer to town. So then you'll have restrictions. So if you want to be off grid just a little bit or out of town just far enough and you want to have 10 acres, expect to have well drilled. And, that ranges in price also because you got to, it all depends on the depth. So a typical, you can spend anywhere from $12,000 to $30,000 to put a well in. Like I said, it all depends on how deep you have to go. So keep that one in mind too. The fifth thing I want you to think about is whether you want sewer or septic. Again, like city water, sewer, you're going to have to be closer to town. That's just the way it works here. Now, these counties are spread way out because there's a lot of mountainous terrain in between houses. So it's not like your typical up north lot and blocks where all the houses are kind of jam packed in together and everybody's sitting on sewer. It doesn't quite work that way here. So if you're looking at, again, for say 10, 15 acres outside of town, expect to have a septic put in. Now, those can range anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 based on the size of the septic system. But that's not it. A lot of people forget about the point that you're going to have to hire a soil scientist to come in, test your soil, and what they're looking for is the absorption rate in that soil. And after the results of the test come back, they will determine how big a house you can build on that property. It could be a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, based on the absorption rate of your soil. So just because you need a septic doesn't mean you're done. You need to have a soil scientist come in before you can even get started. And hey, I've seen areas out here where they won't even allow a septic. So that could be problematic if you just purchased a parcel of land, didn't look into septic, and the soil scientist comes out and says, nope, the absorption rate isn't even good enough for a 1-bedroom. You got a piece of land or a piece of pasture at this point. And the sixth thing I want to talk about is electric. A lot of people don't think about that, but you're going to need it. So you want to be looking for power poles or electric poles, telephone poles, people call them that, close by to the piece of land that you're looking at. If it's relatively close, your cost won't be that bad. Roughly $100 to $1,000 to get power up to your property, depending on how big your acreage is and how far they have to travel. But if there's no pole in sight and they've got to bring it in for a few miles, that's going to get costly. It's not as bad as like a well or a septic, but it can still be pretty costly. But just keep that in mind. All right, guys. So those are the 6 things that you need to be thinking about before you even start looking for property. Remember, the better the view, the bigger the price. Excavation costs, whether or not there's restrictions on the property, your septic sewer, your public water, city water, and electric. I hope you found this kind of valuable, because I know a lot of people have been asking me these questions lately, and it's not as easy as just finding a piece of land and say, hey, I want to buy it. There's a lot of things you need to be thinking about before you put that contract together. So I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks.